My name is Vincent Walker, and I've always been the kind of guy who believes in the goodness of people. I've spent the last 37 years of my life trying to make sense of the world, trying to find connection, meaning, and love. I spent my 20s chasing fleeting pleasures, parties, friends, empty nights. But as I neared my 30s, something started gnawing at me. A loneliness, a silence that no loud crowd could fill. So I turned to the one thing that promised to bridge the gap: the internet. Online dating was a jungle, but somehow I stumbled upon her. Her name is Anna. She had a smile that seemed to promise warmth, a voice that could comfort the loneliest soul. Her profile picture was a blur of soft curls, a sharp jawline, and a gaze that seemed to pierce right through me, saying, "I see you." We started chatting late one night, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel alone. I had heard the horror stories of online dating scams. She's too good to be true. Don't trust everything you see. People hide behind fake profiles. But Anna, she was different. There was something raw, something undeniably real about her. We'd spend hours talking on the phone, sending long messages back and forth. It was as though she was a dream made flesh. I fell for her as easy as that, slowly but deeply. We talked about our future. She spoke about how much she wanted to visit me, how we would travel the world together. It was all sweet. It was all perfect. Then came the message. "I need you, Vincent," she wrote. "I need help. My father is ill, and the hospital is demanding a huge deposit for his treatment. Can you please send me some money? Just a small amount to keep him in care until I can work things out." I hesitated at first. Something didn't feel right. But she had no one else, and her desperation seemed genuine. It wasn't much, just a few $1,000s. It seemed like the right thing to do. I remember the night I sent it. I remember sitting at my desk, hands shaking, heart racing. I told myself it was the right thing to do. After all, love required sacrifice, didn't it? She'd be there for me in my time of need. So why not help her now? She was grateful, so grateful. Her words flooded my inbox. "Thank you. You're saving my father's life." I thought I had done something noble. I thought we were building something together, something real. And for a while it seemed like I had. But then the silence came. The first day it was a little strange. She hadn't replied to my text. Then the second day, it felt unsettling. By the third day, I was starting to worry. I messaged her, called her, sent email after email, but nothing. Her profile disappeared. No trace of Anna. No message, no sign of life. I didn't understand it at first. It was as if she had vanished from the world. I told myself it was a mistake, that maybe she had gotten caught up in something, that her phone was broken, that she just needed some space. But after a week, after 2 weeks, reality hit me like a cold slap in the face. I had been played. All of it, the late-night chats, the promises of a future together, her tears, her smile. It had all been a lie, and I was left holding the empty, bitter truth. She was gone, and she took my money with her. 5 years of online love, trust, and promises vanished in an instant. I couldn't think straight. I was too angry, too confused. The betrayal was unbearable. I should have known. I should have seen the signs. But I didn't. And now I wanted revenge. I tried to move on. I really did. I told myself it wasn't worth dwelling on. But I couldn't forget her. I couldn't forget the way she'd made me feel special. The way her words had crawled under my skin and taken root in my heart. For weeks, I haunted my phone, checking every social media account, scouring the depths of the internet, hoping for some sign, some clue that she hadn't completely vanished. But there was nothing. It was like she had disappeared into the wind, taking my money and my trust with her. But slowly, something inside me began to shift. Anger. It started small, simmering at the edges of my thoughts. But then it grew, spreading like wildfire through my mind. This wasn't just about the money. It wasn't just about the betrayal. It was about the audacity of it all. The nerve she had to play me, to make me think that I was worth something, to manipulate my emotions for a few $1,000s. No, I couldn't let her get away with it. I had no idea where she was, no idea who she really was, and it could have been a completely different person. Hell, she could have been some scamming ring for all I knew. But I wasn't going to let this slide. I was going to find her. I was going to make her pay. I started with the basics. The first thing was figuring out how to track her down. I scrolled through every message we'd exchanged, searching for clues. Anything that would tell me where she lived, where she worked, anything that could point me to her. I searched for her name. Anna was common. But I remembered she had mentioned her father's hospital, and I spent hours cross-referencing hospitals in cities she'd mentioned. Her father's illness had seemed real at the time, the urgency, the way she spoke about it. But now I saw it for what it was, a lie. I dug deeper. I searched social media, diving into profiles of people who might know her, any traces she might have left behind. I even paid for a background check. The details I learned didn't make the betrayal hurt less. It only made it worse. She wasn't who she said she was. Her name wasn't even Anna. I felt a sick thrill run through me as the pieces began to fit together. She had used a fake identity. She wasn't a woman in need of help. She was just a scam artist playing a game with someone's life. But here's the thing. Anger isn't enough. It wasn't going to get me what I wanted. I needed more than just fury. I needed precision. I needed a plan. And that's what I spent the next month building. A careful, deliberate plan to get back at her. The first step was getting close. I needed information, real information. And the best way to do that was to put myself in her shoes. So I created a fake profile. I posed as someone new, someone with similar interests, with a similar story. I didn't know if she'd fall for it, but I had to try. I wasn't going to just expose her. No, I had bigger plans. I studied her methods, examined how she had woven her lies so seamlessly. And the more I studied, the more I understood the game she was playing. She relied on trust, on vulnerability. She used her charm to worm her way into people's lives, making them feel needed, important, and wanted. Then she pulled the rug out from under them, taking whatever she could get before vanishing without a trace. I'd do the same thing, but I wasn't going to vanish. I wasn't going to leave her with nothing. As I worked through my plan, the lines between right and wrong began to blur. Was this really justice? Was I any better than her? I struggled with those thoughts. I even felt guilt gnawing at me at times. But it didn't stop me. No, it only pushed me further into the darkness. The rage, the humiliation, the sense of betrayal, they kept me going. And as I began to finalize my plan, a strange thing happened. I stopped feeling like the victim. I stopped feeling sorry for myself. The power was in my hands now. It was time. I had everything I needed. The fake profile was set, the story in place. I'd spent weeks building trust with her, just as she had done with me. Slowly, I wormed my way into her life, getting her to open up, telling me stories about her past, her struggles. She wasn't the same person anymore. No longer the sweet Anna who made me feel special. She was someone different, someone I could use. The day I knew she'd be vulnerable came. I'd positioned myself perfectly. I had sent the message. I'm in trouble again. The money I made from my last job isn't enough to pay the rent, and my father's health is still in danger. I'm doing everything I can, but I'm scared. I saw the reply come in. I'll help you, Anna, I typed, my fingers trembling with both excitement and disgust. I'll send the money. Just tell me what you need. She responded almost immediately. There it was, the weakness, the desperation in her words. And for the first time in all the months we'd been talking, I saw the mask slip. She wasn't in control anymore. I was. The transaction was simple. A couple of $1,000s. Nothing too much to raise suspicion. But the real fun would begin once the money was sent. I watched as the money left my account, knowing she was sitting on the other end, blissfully unaware of what was coming. I hadn't just planned to ruin her financially. I was going to destroy her sense of security, her belief that she could get away with this. I wasn't going to leave her with any dignity. I waited. The plan was set in motion. Once she accepted the money, once I knew she was comfortable, I pulled the strings. I leaked information about her, the fake identity, the fact that she had been using the scam for years. I posted it online, shared it across every social media channel I could. I sent emails to her friends, people who had once trusted her. The truth came spilling out. At first, she didn't react. I kept watching, knowing it would take some time for the reality to sink in. And when it did, it was a slow burn, a slow, painful realization that everything she had built was crumbling. She tried to cover her tracks, tried to delete everything. But it was too late. People were already talking. The web was too vast for her to undo what had been done. And then came the call. I picked up the phone, knowing it would be her, the voice I had once trusted. "Vincent," she whispered, you have no idea what you've done. You'll regret this." But there was no fear in her voice, no genuine remorse, just cold anger. It didn't matter. She had already lost. I listened to her threats, her attempts to control me even now. But they were empty. I had no guilt, no hesitation. I had taken my revenge, and it had tasted sweet and satisfying. But as the days passed, I began to feel something different, something that settled in my chest like a weight I couldn't shake. Regret. It wasn't guilt, not exactly, but something darker, something heavier. I had won. I had broken her. But what had it really cost me? I looked at the messages she had sent me in the beginning, the ones where she had convinced me she was real. She had been a stranger to me from the start. But now I was the stranger. I was the one who had hurt someone so deeply, someone I had once considered the most important part of my life. What had I become? I had taken her down, destroyed everything she had worked for, and yet there was no relief, no satisfaction in it. It wasn't justice. It wasn't even revenge anymore. It was emptiness, a void that spread deeper with each passing day. As the months passed, I watched her try to rebuild. She had moved on, found new victims, perhaps even moved to a different city. I didn't know. I didn't care. She was gone from my life. But I couldn't escape the feeling that I had lost something too. In my pursuit of revenge, I had lost myself. But at the end of it all, there was a part of me that still felt justified. After everything she had done to me, the lies, the manipulation, perhaps, just perhaps, I had done the right thing, but it would never bring me peace. In the end, I wasn't the same person anymore. I couldn't be. I had gotten my revenge, but it hadn't come without a cost. As time passed, I found myself standing at a crossroads I never thought I'd reach. The world around me felt the same. My life, my routine, my friends. They all continued as if nothing had changed. But I couldn't unsee the person I had become, the person I had shaped in my pursuit of justice, the man who had taken another person's life, destroyed her world, all in the name of revenge. But was it justice? Was it worth it? I kept thinking back to the day I received that message from her, the one where she had asked for help, the one that led me into her web. At the time, I believed in her desperation. I believed in her tears. And now I wondered if that's all I had been, a pawn in someone else's game. I couldn't lie to myself anymore. I had been manipulated, yes, but I had also manipulated. I had become the very thing I had hated. And that was the true cost of revenge. It didn't bring closure. It didn't provide justice. It simply turned me into someone I didn't recognize. The power, the rush of taking control, of dismantling someone's life. It had all come at the expense of my own humanity. I've heard it said that revenge doesn't make you feel better, that it only fills you with emptiness. I never understood it, not until I stood on the other side of it. I thought it would bring me peace, that it would fill the void she had left in my life. But instead, it just deepened it. I had won, yes, but what had I really gained? It wasn't until I heard about her again, months after everything had unfolded, that I understood the full weight of my actions. She had started fresh. She had found new victims, but the world hadn't stopped for her. It had just moved on. And for the first time, I realized that I hadn't been a part of her story. She had been a part of mine, and I was letting her control me long after she was gone. I thought I'd feel victorious when I saw the wreckage I had left in my wake. But all I felt was a hollow, sickening sense of futility. What had I really accomplished? I had proven I could destroy someone. But in the process, I destroyed a part of myself too. I had become consumed by the act of revenge, so much so that I had lost sight of the person I used to be, the person who had believed in kindness, in second chances, in the goodness of people. But there was no turning back now. The past had already happened. The decisions I had made were irreversible. And as much as I tried to convince myself that it had been worth it, deep down, I knew it hadn't been. The consequences of my actions haunted me. They lingered in every quiet moment, in every glance I had with a stranger who could have been Anna, in every time I looked at myself in the mirror. What I had done, what I had become, was a permanent mark on my soul. And though I had exacted revenge, there was no satisfaction in it, no triumph. Only the heavy, suffocating truth that I had lost myself in the process. So, now I live with the memories, with the pain of what I did to her, but more painfully, what I did to me. Revenge doesn't heal wounds. It just opens new ones, and they never truly stop bleeding.